Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something today. You are standing at the threshold of a breakthrough, but it starts with understanding the one thing that can transform your entire life, giving your needs to God. Too many of us carry burdens that were never meant to be ours to bear. We walk through life thinking we have to handle everything on our own, our worries, our dreams, our struggles. But let me tell you, God never intended for you to carry that load alone. Faith over fear is not just a phrase, it's a powerful declaration of your belief that there is something greater at work in your life. Fear will try to hold you back, to paralyze you, to convince you that you are not enough, that your dreams are too big, that your goals are unattainable. Fear will tell you that the obstacles in your path are insurmountable, that you'll never overcome the challenges that stand before you. But faith says otherwise. Faith says that no matter what you see with your natural eyes, there is a supernatural power at work behind the scenes, moving mountains, shifting circumstances, and positioning you for success. Faith is the belief that the same power that created the universe, the same power that raised the dead, is the power that is working on your behalf. When you choose faith over fear, you are choosing to trust in the unseen. You are choosing to trust that every challenge you face is a part of a bigger picture, a picture you may not yet understand, but one that has been orchestrated by God Himself. Fear whispers in your ear telling you to play it safe, to hold back, to be cautious. But faith roars louder saying, step out, walk in the unknown, take that leap. I've got you. Faith is not the absence of fear. It is the decision that fear will not control your actions, your thoughts, or your future. It is the courage to move forward in the face of uncertainty, knowing that you are not moving alone. Faith over fear means that when the storm comes, when the winds howl, when everything around you seems to be shaking, you will stand firm. Because you know that your foundation is not built on sand, but on the rock. Your faith is your anchor. It keeps you grounded when the world tries to pull you under. When fear tries to paralyze you, faith empowers you. When fear tells you to quit, faith says press on. When fear tells you that you're too weak, faith reminds you that you're too weak. Faith reminds you that you are more than a conqueror. With faith, you rise above the noise of the world and hold on to the promise that you are destined for greatness. Surrender to God is not a moment of weakness, but a profound act of strength. It's the moment when you lay down all of your control, all of your striving, all of your need to figure everything out on your own. It's the realization that you don't have to carry the weight of the world, that you don't have to force things to happen, that you can trust in a higher power who has already paved the way for you. To surrender is to acknowledge that there is a plan greater than your own, and to place your life, your dreams, your hopes, and your fears in the hands of the one who holds the universe. Surrender doesn't mean giving up, it means giving over. You're not abandoning your dreams, you're aligning them with God's purpose. It's not about losing yourself, it's about finding the fullness of who you were meant to be. When you surrender to God, you are choosing to step out of the driver's seat and let Him take control of the wheel. You trust that He knows the path better than you do, and that His guidance will always lead you to where you need to be. And it's easy to think that you can do everything on your own, that you can make things happen through your own efforts, your own wisdom, and your own understanding. But surrendering to God means recognizing that there is power in His power, a power that exceeds anything you can do in your own strength. It's an act of faith, a decision to let go of worry and embrace peace, knowing that everything is under His control. When you surrender, you let go of your need to manipulate outcomes. You stop trying to force situations to fit your desires and allow God to work in His own timing. Now you trust that what is meant for you will come at the perfect time, that His ways are higher than your ways and His thoughts are higher than your thoughts. Surrendering to God means accepting that his purpose for your life may look different than what you imagine, but it will always be better than what you could have planned for yourself. To surrender is to take a deep breath and release your fears, doubts, and insecurities. It's to stop fighting against what's beyond your control and to find peace in the knowledge that God has it all worked out. It's not about giving in to despair, it's about giving in to trust. When you surrender, you open your heart to receive his guidance, his strength, and his love in ways you never thought possible. Divine provision is the unwavering belief that God will always provide exactly what you need when you need it in ways that surpass your understanding. It's the deep knowing that you are never alone in your journey, that there is a source of abundance that flows endlessly and that nothing is too great or too small for God to handle. Divine provision is not just about material needs. It encompasses everything that sustains your spiritual nourishment, emotional strength, physical health, and even the peace of mind that comes from trusting in God's faithfulness. When you truly embrace divine provision, you let go of the worry and stress that so often accompanies scarcity. You stop living in fear of lack and begin to live in the expectation of abundance, not in your own ability to accumulate, but in God's ability to deliver. Divine provision means that even when you can't see a way forward, God is already at work behind the scenes, moving pieces, opening doors, and arranging circumstances that will meet your needs in ways you may never have imagined. This provision comes in many forms. Sometimes it's financial, sometimes it's a timely opportunity, and sometimes it's the wisdom you need to make the right decisions. There are times when it's not a direct material blessing, but the strength and courage to face what seems impossible. Divine provision means that you trust that God is already ahead of you, preparing the way, and that nothing in your life is outside of his care and concern. You may face moments where you feel like you are running on empty, where everything around you feels uncertain and you wonder how you'll make it through. But divine provision reminds you that God sees your needs before you do and has already prepared a way for them to be met. It might not always look the way you expect, but it will always be exactly what you need. Divine provision is about knowing that God's timing is perfect and that what he gives you today is enough for the moment, but he will continue to provide as you move forward. When you trust in divine provision, you stop trying to control every detail of your life. You stop striving in your own strength to make things happen and start resting in the peace that comes from knowing that God is your provider. You align your heart with gratitude, acknowledging that every good gift comes from him and that he is faithful to supply all your needs according to his riches and glory. In the moments when you feel overwhelmed or uncertain, divine provision speaks to your heart, reminding you that God is more than enough. He will never leave you lacking. He will never abandon you in your time of need. His provision is not limited by your circumstances, but is powered by his infinite love and grace. It is always more than enough to sustain you, to lift you, and to equip you for the journey ahead. Trusting in God's timing is one of the most powerful acts of faith you can make. It requires letting go of your own sense of urgency and surrendering to the understanding that God's plan for your life is unfolding exactly as it should. We live in a world that is often driven by immediate gratification, where we expect things to happen now on our terms and according to our schedule. But God's timing is not bound by the constraints of time and space in the way we understand it, Steve. His timing is perfect, intentional, and always aligned with a greater purpose that we may not always see in the moment. When you trust in God's timing, you step out of the driver's seat of your life and into the passenger seat, allowing him to take the lead. You recognize that while you may have your own plans, God is the ultimate architect of your life. His timing is not delayed, it is simply different from our own. We may not understand why something is happening when it is, but when we trust him, we are saying, I believe that you are in control, and I believe that your plan for me is better than any plan I could have come up with. Sometimes trusting in God's timing means waiting. It means enduring seasons of uncertainty when you don't know what's coming next, when it seems like doors are closed, or when you feel like you've been praying for answers that haven't yet arrived. But waiting in God's timing is not passive. It is an active process of trusting, growing, and preparing for what's to come. It's knowing that just because something hasn't happened yet doesn't mean it's not on the way. God's timing is always perfect, even when we don't see it. There are moments when we feel that what we need is urgent, whether it's a new job, healing, a breakthrough, or a change in our circumstances. But God knows exactly when we are ready for what he has prepared for us. He knows the right season for us to step into our calling, to receive his blessings, and to experience growth. Trusting in God's timing means knowing that he will open the right doors at the right time, and when it's your time, everything will fall into place. The challenges we face, the waiting periods, the delays, these are not signs that God has forgotten about you. Instead, they are opportunities for your faith to grow stronger. Trusting in God's timing means choosing to believe that even when you don't see immediate results, God is working behind the scenes on your behalf, orchestrating every detail of your life. You may feel that time is running out, that you are behind schedule, or that your dreams are slipping away, but God is not limited by time as we are. He is able to do what seems impossible, and he is able to bring things to pass when it's the perfect moment, even if that moment is not when you expected it. Trusting in his timing is about acknowledging that he knows what's best for you, and he's not late, he is right on time. A breakthrough through faith is a moment of divine intervention that shifts everything in your life. It's the moment when you reach the end of your own strength, and yet something powerful happens. It's the moment when you stand on the precipice of what seems impossible, and you take a step forward, trusting that God will meet you in that place of vulnerability. That breakthrough doesn't always come when we expect it or in the way we imagine, but when we have faith, we open the door for God to move in ways we could never have orchestrated on our own. Faith is the catalyst for breakthrough. It is the force that propels us forward when we have nothing left to hold on to. It's not about having all the answers or understanding how everything will work out, but simply trusting in the one who holds all things together. When you have faith, you believe that God is bigger than any obstacle, stronger than any challenge, and more capable than anything you could face. You begin to see through the lens of faith, understanding that with God, all things are possible. Breakthrough through faith often comes after a season of struggle. It's in the moments of hardship when everything seems to be falling apart that faith becomes the foundation for your victory. Faith says, even though I don't see a way, I know God can make a way. It's in those moments of doubt, of waiting, when you refuse to give up, that you position yourself for a breakthrough. Because faith is not the absence of obstacles, it is the strength to press on in spite of them. When you step out in faith, you invite God into your situation. You allow him to take control of the circumstances that seem impossible, and trust that he has a plan for your life that is greater than what you can see. Faith is not a passive hope, it is an active trust. You take action even when the road ahead is uncertain, because you believe that God will provide what is needed. You don't wait for everything to be perfect. You act in faith, trusting that God will meet you where you are and lead you to where you need to go. A breakthrough doesn't always come in the form we expect. It may not be immediate, and it may not look the way we thought it would. But when we have faith, we know that God is always working behind the scenes, orchestrating our breakthrough in his perfect timing. Sometimes the breakthrough isn't just in our circumstances, it's in our hearts. It's in the development of a deeper, more unshakable trust in God. It's in the understanding that our faith is what moves mountains, shifts situations, and opens doors that no one else can open. When you face obstacles, remember that your breakthrough is not limited by your own strength or understanding. It is activated by your faith. And when you trust in God, you set in motion a series of divine events that will lead to your victory. No matter how big the challenge, your faith has the power to bring about change. A breakthrough through faith is the evidence that God is at work. And when you believe, nothing is impossible. Unmatched blessings are the kind of gifts that go beyond what you could ever ask or imagine. They are not just ordinary blessings, they are blessings that exceed your expectations, that surpass your understanding, and that are tailored specifically for you. When you walk in alignment with God's will, He opens doors of favor and grace that no one can shut. These blessings are not based on what you deserve, but on God's unmerited love and His ability to do more than you could ever comprehend. Unmatched blessings are a reflection of God's goodness and faithfulness pouring into your life in ways that leave you in awe of His power. The beauty of unmatched blessings lies in their uniqueness. They come in forms you didn't anticipate, showing up at just the right moment when you need them most. Sometimes they are not even material things. They might come as peace in the midst of chaos, strength when you feel weak, or a divine connection that propels you forward. God's unmatched blessings are not limited by the laws of nature or circumstance. They come straight from a place of divine abundance. When God blesses you in this way, it's as if He is pouring out from an endless reservoir, and there is no limit to the grace He extends towards you. The unmatched blessings often come when you least expect them. You might have prayed for something, but God gives you something better. You might have planned one thing, but He has something greater in mind. These blessings are not just answers to prayer, they are reminders that God's vision for your life is so much greater than your own. Sometimes it takes going through trials, setbacks, or waiting periods for God to position you for a blessing that truly changes the course of your life. You may not always see the process, but His timing is perfect, and He knows the exact moment to release these blessings into your life. In the midst of life's challenges, God's unmatched blessings provide a supernatural peace that guards your heart. They remind you that no matter what is happening around you, God's favor is upon you. These blessings are signs of His presence and His love, and they serve as a powerful testimony to His ability to make things happen that human effort alone cannot. They remind you that nothing is impossible with God, and when you walk in His will, blessings that are beyond your imagination will flow into your life. When you walk in faith and obedience, God will surprise you with blessings that defy the odds. These are blessings that others may not understand, but you will recognize them as the hand of God at work in your life. They are the kind of blessings that don't just impact you, but overflow to those around you, creating a ripple effect of favor, goodness, and grace. Unmatched blessings are the divine gifts that not only change your life, but the lives of others, because God's blessings are never meant to stop with you, they are meant to flow through you. Divine favor is the grace of God that goes beyond what we can earn or deserve. It is a blessing that is freely given, not based on our actions, but on God's love, mercy, and sovereignty. When divine favor rests upon you, doors open that would otherwise remain closed, and opportunities arise that are beyond your own ability to create. Divine favor is the unmerited blessing that propels you into positions of influence, success, and blessing, even when the circumstances would say otherwise. It's when God works in your life in such a way that others can see His hand at work, opening doors, creating favor, and positioning you for things that you could never achieve by yourself. Divine favor is not about having a perfect life, but about God's presence and power in your life, guiding you through challenges and elevating you to new levels. It's when you are in the right place at the right time, even though you may not have planned it that way. It's when you find favor in the eyes of those who can help you, when people extend kindness to you for no apparent reason, or when things seem to work out in your favor in ways that seem supernatural. This favor cannot be explained by logic or chance. It is the hand of God moving in your life. When divine favor is upon you, you begin to see the impossible become possible. You find yourself walking into opportunities, meeting the right people, and receiving resources that you didn't know you needed. It's a favor that transcends effort, competition, or human limitations. It's a favor that operates by divine timing, aligning you with the right circumstances and people at the right moments. With divine favor, your weaknesses are overshadowed by God's strength, and your limitations are overshadowed by His abundance. Divine favor also comes with a responsibility. It's a reminder that with the blessings and opportunities God grants you, there is an expectation to walk in humility, to use what you've been given for good, and to honor God with the favor He bestows. It's not about becoming prideful or taking credit for what God has done, but about acknowledging His hand in your life and using that favor to bless others. Divine favor is a call to greatness, but also a call to servitude, to extend the same grace and kindness you've received to those around you. When divine favor is upon you, it's not just about what God does for you, but also about how He shapes you through the experience. It builds your faith, strengthens your character, and positions you to be a blessing to others. This favor doesn't just benefit you in the moment. It has lasting effects that ripple through every area of your life, affecting your relationships, your career, your health, and your future. Divine favor is God's way of showing you that He has a purpose for your life that goes beyond your own dreams, and He is setting the stage for something greater than you can imagine. Overflowing blessings are the abundant, uncontainable gifts that God pours into your life, surpassing anything you could have imagined. These blessings are not just enough to meet your needs, they are more than enough. They spill over into every area of your life, your finances, your relationships, your health, your peace of mind, touching everything around you. Overflowing blessings come when God's favor and grace are so abundant that it's impossible to keep them contained within the borders of your own life. They are blessings that go beyond the ordinary, beyond the expected, and fill your life with supernatural abundance. When God's blessings overflow, they reach beyond what you can see or even conceive. It's when you find favor that exceeds your expectations, when opportunities arrive that you never thought possible, and when your life is filled with more joy, peace, and provision than you could have prepared for. Overflowing blessings are those moments when you are so blessed that it can't help but spill out and touch others. It's the provision of God that fills your cup to the brim and then some, until it's running over into the lives of the people around you. These blessings often come when you least expect them, in times when you feel like you've given all you can, or when you face trials and hardships. In those seasons, God has a way of stepping in and multiplying what you have. He doesn't just give you enough to survive, He gives you more than enough to thrive. Overflowing blessings can show up in the form of unexpected financial resources, divine connections, promotions, or even in the intangible blessings like peace, joy, and fulfillment that make life rich and meaningful. Overflowing blessings remind you that God's provision isn't limited by human understanding or circumstance. Even when things look scarce, God has the ability to bring abundance out of nothing. Just as He multiplied the loaves and fishes, He can take your little and turn it into more than enough. These blessings are not just about material wealth. They can manifest in spiritual growth, emotional healing, and strengthened relationships. They are a testimony of God's love and generosity, showing that He has a heart to bless His bless His people far beyond their own capacity to receive. When you experience overflowing blessings, you are called to be a vessel through which others experience God's goodness. These blessings aren't meant to be hoarded or kept to yourself. They are meant to flow through you to those in need. Whether it's through sharing your resources, your time, your knowledge, or your love, the blessings you receive are meant to overflow into the lives of others. As God blesses you, you become a channel of those blessings, spreading His love, grace, and abundance to those around you. The overflowing blessings remind us that God's goodness has no limits. He is able to bless us in ways we can't foresee or comprehend. And when He does, His blessings never run dry. They keep coming, keep multiplying, and keep filling our lives with more than we could ever ask for or imagine. It's a reminder that God is always at work, preparing, providing, and pouring out His goodness in ways that transform our lives and the lives of everyone we encounter. Heavenly rewards are the eternal treasures that await those who live faithfully, obediently, and with a heart fully devoted to God. These rewards are not of this world. They are the spiritual, lasting outcomes of a life lived in service to God's kingdom, built upon the foundation of faith, love, and integrity. While earthly rewards may fade away, heavenly rewards are eternal and beyond the scope of human comprehension. They are the result of choosing to follow God's path even when the road is difficult, when the sacrifices are great, and when the world around us does not understand. Heavenly rewards are far greater than anything this world can offer. They are not motivated by the desire for recognition or accolades, but by a deep personal commitment to God's wills. These rewards are given not based on outward appearance or the accolades of men, but on the condition of the heart and the choices made in secret. God sees the sacrifices, the quiet acts of obedience, the moments when no one else is watching, and He promises to reward those who faithfully endure and persevere. The heavenly rewards are a reflection of God's righteousness, justice, and love for His people. Giving for heavenly rewards means prioritizing eternity over temporary satisfaction. It means choosing to invest in what will last rather than what is fleeting. The world may offer fame, wealth, and power, but these things will eventually pass away. Heavenly rewards are built on the eternal truths of God's word and the love that flows from Him. They come to those who seek to honor God in everything they do, who serve selflessly, love generously, and persevere through trials with unwavering faith. And these rewards are not always visible on earth, but they are guaranteed in the life to come. And when we live with the understanding that our efforts are building toward heavenly rewards, it shifts our perspective. It frees us from the pressures of seeking approval from others and helps us focus on what truly matters. These rewards are not earned by human effort alone, but are a reflection of God's grace. However, the way we live, the choices we make, and the actions we take in His name are ways in which we demonstrate our faithfulness. The Bible tells us that God will reward those who seek Him, and that every act of faith, no matter how small, is noticed by Him. Heavenly rewards are also a promise of ultimate justice. In a world that is often filled with unfairness, hardship, and suffering, the idea of heavenly rewards offers hope and comfort. God's justice will be perfectly executed, and every sacrifice, every struggle, every tear will be redeemed. For those who endure hardship with a heart focused on God's kingdom, their faithfulness will not be in vain. God promises to reward those who have been faithful stewards of His calling, giving them a crown of righteousness that will never fade. Giving with the expectation of heavenly rewards transforms the way we approach life's challenges. It reminds us that our labor is not in vain, that every step we take in obedience is part of a greater purpose. These rewards give us strength to press on when the journey feels long, to hold on to hope when the path seems uncertain. As we keep our eyes on the eternal promises of God, we are able to live with purpose, knowing that our sacrifices are not just for today, but are laid up treasures that will last for eternity.